everyone. Welcome back in our podcast, Sustainably Yours. In today's episode, we are going to talk about sustainability in Europe. I'm your host, Esther, and today I'm going to talk about Spanish sustainability as I'm living in Spain in the past few years. And today I have three lovely people who join us in today's episode. Could you guys please represent yourselves?
Hello, my name is Kriszti. I live in England, in the United Kingdom, and I own my own house and recently had some solar panels put up my roof.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Julia and I live in Transylvania in the middle of Romania, where, as you will learn, the sustainability isn't in a very good place right now, and I'm sure it will be a very cheerful topic.
Yes, and hi guys, my name is Soma born and raised in Hungary, still living in Hungary. Yes, I will try to be informative about the situation in Hungary.
Good, thank you. So, as you all heard, we are going to talk about especially these four countries, as we know these countries the most. So, first of all, let's talk about sustainability in general. What do you guys think? How is it in your country? How people try to be sustainable? Shoma, what do you think? How is it in Hungary?
Well, Hungary, it's up for grabs. I know a lot of people who take sustainability really seriously. They try to shop responsibly, conserve as much as water as they can. But on the other hand, I met some people who doesn't really care about these stuff. Yeah, it's a mixed bag, I would say.
And how about you?
Well, I'm doing my best. I feel like I'm trying to stay informed and support policies that protect the environment, but there's always room for improvement.
Yeah. Do you think Hungary does something unique that, for example, in our countries is not really happening?
Maybe it can. Let's say the protecting Hungary's water is a huge deal here. Obviously, a lot of our drinking water comes from underground sources and the bank filtered river water. Think of the Danube or the Tisza, slowly seeping through gravel before treatment. There is a great quality if we protect it, but you can hear some news from time to time that there is some problem with the quality of water.
And about water and about drinking. In Hungary, it's drinkable, right? The water, as far as
Yes, if you think about drinking from tap, like tap water,
portable.
yes, most of the time you are safe to drink water in Hungary, especially in urban areas. Although if you live in a remote area, you can have some problem with it. So
Yeah,
it's best to be informed in the local authorities.
yeah. I think I heard it in Hungary, and I also have this question for everyone because I'm sure in Spain it's not a thing. Do you guys like recycle bottles? Like, do you have to take it back and get some money back? I know this is a thing in Germany, but we definitely don't do it in Spain.
It's not a thing in Spain.
No, we don't have it. No, it doesn't exist.
Well, I think you are talking about the deposit return machines, the
Yes.
DRMs. They have just got introduced, I think, last year in Hungary, and it's a pretty simple system. You can feed in your bottles and cans, and you get a voucher Usually in the supermarkets you can find these machines, and every bottle costs at least 50 forint, forint, and yeah, it could be better. The line is usually pretty long in front of these machines, and but the system is pretty new, so it's still expanding.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it. I think it's a great way to motivate people to recycle.
Yeah. Julia, what do you think about this? Do you have the same thing in Romania?
We have a similar thing, but only in select few supermarkets. But what I find very amusing is Soma says in Hungary it's 50 forint you get for a bottle, right?
Yes, correct. At least
And
there are some special cases when you can get a bit higher price, but usually it's 50 forint.
in Romania you get 50 bani, which is more than 50 forint. So in Romania you get more for one bottle, which is very uncharacteristic of this country if I think about it, to get more money for something.
I see, I see. Well, that's good for you then, I guess.
And
Yes.
Kriszti, how about in England?
Yes, so we don't have a system where you get money for your bottles, but people do recycle even on the street. There are recycling bins which are separate from the general waste bin, and on the airport they say that they separate our waste by hand themselves or maybe by machine, but basically recycling works really fine in this country. Half your rubbish is recycling and half your rubbish is a normal waste, general waste. And with the water supply, I'd like to mention that our tap water is really good in Northampton at least, and in my boyfriend's flat as well in Norholt. But some places like in Wales, it's very rubbish. It tastes bad, and it's obviously then something you shouldn't really try and drink. And I often think about what I'm flushing down the toilet, for example. Like sometimes I'm afraid to flush the paper down, and I put it in the bin instead.
That's a really interesting topic actually, because I mean the toilet one. Because in Spain, if you go to the islands, so if you go to the Canary Islands, then you cannot put your toilet paper in the toilet. You have to put it in the rubbish. There
Really?
is, yes,
It's
there
the
is.
same in Greece.
Yeah,
Greece.
yeah, really. I never been to Greece, so I don't know it. But like, I know the tubes are really like skinny and they can get stuck easily. But it's also, well, this question is interesting. Which one is better? If we throw it in the water and we flush it, or if we put it in the garbage, because then it's gonna be burned. So, have you ever?
Not necessarily. Some garbage actually stays on the waste side,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. But that's also not very good because it takes up space. I
Yeah.
heard of something in this country. Some people use the waste, the poisonous gases from the waste, to create energy. I met someone who worked at a facility like this.
I don't know about it, to be honest.
They can
just
create energy from the poisonous gases at the waste site.
it's
Very well, might be.
And they're doing it in my city, in my town, Northampton, because someone I met on the train is working at a waste site creating energy from the poisonous gases that leave the waste site, would leave it,
Hmm.
but they change them into energy somehow. I don't know how they do it, but it sounds really interesting, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. Definitely first time hearing about it.
What other alternative energy sources do you know about, guys? I mentioned solar panels.
Yeah, so in Spain, they tend to use wind energy especially also in the islands, because they can put it in the water, in the ocean. And also, there is a lot of land without anything in Spain, so they use a lot of wind energy and solar panel. Actually, I think Spain should use more solar energy because they have so much sunny days, so many sunny days, especially in the southern part of the country. And the country is so big. I think it's the biggest one among our 4 countries, and there are a lot of places which are just desert and there is nothing except olive trees. And I feel like Spain should definitely learn how to use renewable energy. They are really behind in this topic. It's sustainability in general is not something that they care about as much as they should. And later on, I'm gonna tell you all a funny topic about this actually. Meanwhile, Julia, can you comment?
Yeah. Yes. It's funny that you should mention that you say they aren't utilizing renewable energy sources enough, because it's the same in Romania, but I believe it is much worse. I don't believe they use really. I believe they use very, very little. So the funny thing about Romania, funny in a sad way, is that it was almost kicked out of the European Union a year or two ago, because back then we didn't even have recycling. It's a very underdeveloped country and nobody cares about this topic really. So even accessing the recycling was very difficult a few years ago. And for renewable energy, it's even worse.
Do you think that people got used to it? Like, do you think things changed and people recycle more than a few years ago?
I think a little bit, not as much as they should. I think there are a lot of people who. So I think the only reason most people care about this is because you get money from these machines that you put the bottles in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
not even sure waste gets recycled or just ends up in a landmine. We can select it, but I don't know if it gets recycled after the garbage truck takes it. It's really sad.
But I think things can change quite fast in this regard, because let's the solar energy. We mentioned solar energy. I read somewhere that in Hungary in 2024 solar energy generated almost 25-ish% of Hungary's electricity, up from zero in 2010. So just under 14 years, they were able to turn this source of energy pretty fruitful. So I think in Romania too, it can develop pretty fast.
The United Kingdom is supposed to be a very developed country, and actually the government will make it compulsory not just for councils who already insulated houses, but for all landlords and housing associations to make their tenants' houses more energy efficient and more insulated. How about your country's house insulation?
Well, in Hungary, the honest answer is that homes are not yet well insulated, though it's getting better. A lot of Hungarian homes, if you think panel blocks or old brick houses, they were built when energy was really cheap and insulation wasn't a priority. And you can feel it in the winter. The warm rooms go cold real fast when the heating switches off. And you can see that the windows fog up because of this. And in the summer, these homes can turn into like ovens without serious shading. They will get really hot. But what does good insulation actually mean?
That's a really
Like
great question.
It's supposed to keep the heat in the winter and supposed to keep as much heat out and cold in the summer as possible. I think
Hmm.
Spain has a little bit to say about this.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have a big issue with this, I feel like. Especially, well, I'm not Spanish, I'm Hungarian, so obviously I can compare it with the Hungarian reality. And what I definitely see, like for example, like in the south of Spain, they don't even have central heating systems, so the houses are so cold that they use electricity all the time to heat up the houses with this portable electricity, like they're like little heating systems that they plug in, and they have it even under a table. That's a really Spanish thing, a really southern Spanish thing. They have a thing which is like a heating system, and they put it under the table where they eat, where they have their lunch, for example, and everyone puts under this blanket. Like, imagine that there's a table, like the dining table, and there is a big duvet on this. So I wouldn't call it a blanket or something. It's more like a tablecloth, but it's a really thick one, and they basically sit under it, and there is a heating system under, which I don't know how I'm sure it catches on fire. I'm sure there are stories about this. And I don't know, the houses are just so cold. In the
Hmm.
winter, if you go close to the windows, you can feel the cold air entering. It's not only that the houses are not well isolated and that the walls are like basically paper thin, but also the windows. Like, I know in Hungary, for example, in most houses, they have this window which is doubled glass and you can easily open it, and it's like closes really
Yeah,
good. That's not really a thing in Spain.
double or triple glazing you can
Yes,
find windows here.
exactly. And it's a big issue in Spain. Also, obviously, because of the summer, as I said, it's super hot. Like
Hmm.
Cordova is the hottest place in whole Europe, and they have to use AC all the time to just like survive, literally surviving the summer because it's so hot.
Because I'm sorry, but so because the homes are not well insulated,
Yeah,
they generate way more electricity, which
exactly,
costs a lot of money, I'm
exactly.
guessing,
Yeah, exactly.
for AC and for warming.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
yeah,
Yes, interesting. I just got the news that this January my windows should be made triple glazed windows by the housing association that I have on my house with. And I'm really happy about this news because our windows are really bad at the moment. But I'm not sure if it will happen in January yet.
yeah. They have to change it in the winter, as far as I know, for technical reasons. Like they have to change windows in cold weather, so like it can extend in the summer.
Oh,
Hmm.
really? Okay.
Yeah. They, think I seen guess what, listeners, a TikTok video where I learned this. That they do this, that they do this in the winter because of this, because like with the cold weather, it gets like tinier or something like this. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know
Yes,
physics.
I know a little bit about what you're talking about.
Perfect.
Could
Then
I
tell
try?
us.
So, what I presume is being talked about is the fact that in heat, any material expands, and in the cold, it shrinks. So I
Yeah.
assume they put it in the cold because then it can, as you said, it extends in the summer in the warm weather,
And the
and it
ceiling
doesn't.
will be better.
It would crack otherwise.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining.
Right, that's interesting.
And what I wanted to say also, it's very interesting what you said, Esther, about Spain, that they use more electricity because they don't have sufficient insulation, because in Romania it's quite similar. I will say there's a very big difference between people who have insulation, people who don't obviously who have money for insulation. For example, my house is insulated. I will say about 50% of the country doesn't have electricity here, or not all the time. And so what they do instead is, and they don't have insulation, obviously. What they do instead is fire, coal,
Mm.
Hmm.
which is obviously not good for the air quality.
Air pollution,
Oh,
etc. Yes.
yes, but when I was 17 in my district, in the 16th district of Budapest in Hungary, the smell was just so terrible of burning coal, wood, everything. I don't know. Budapest is also guilty of this, even though they're the capital of Hungary, even though the 16th district is one of the poshest districts of the city of the capital. Yeah. So I'm a bit shocked by that, but when I was young, this really didn't work out in Budapest either, and they burned wood, and it really
Yes.
polluted the air. It made me
You
sick mentally.
you can still find places in Hungary where people heat with wood. Fire-based heating is a thing, usually with the less fortunate among the less fortunate people with
I'm going
less
to tell you
income.
something. My father uses wood to heat his house, even though he has solar panels, and even though he has gas, he has proper heating in his house, he still uses wood sometimes.
But
And what
why?
is his reasoning?
It's cheaper. That's it.
Let's see.
It's not very nice.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not happy with my father doing it, but I can't tell him really that he should stop.
And we
I
are
don't want to make him mad at me.
we talked about, well, Kriszti mentioned like pollution in big cities and so on. Like, what about public transportation in where you live? You can talk about January, about your country, of course. Well, first of all, I would like to mention Spain about this topic. Well, as I said, Spain is really big. It's usually bigger than people think it is. And the public transportation is quite bad, actually. Most people use this car because they cannot get in any other way inside the country, or even just like from one city to another one. So they don't really have the public transportation developed. Like, for example, the trains are super expensive. They don't have a fixed price. They are fast trains. Like, there's a train line which called Ave, which is really fast. Like, it can go sometimes it can go, I think, up to 300 kilometers per hour. So it's fun. I tried it. It was really nice, to be honest, to get so fast from one place to another. But it's also really expensive, and the prices are not fixed. So that means it's like an airplane. It's like a ticket to an airplane. Like, it can change from an hour to hour, from day by day, and so many times they aren't even filled up. So, and they're not well connected. There are a lot of towns which are not well connected, or you need a lot of time to get from point A to point B. Yeah. I mean, there are also a lot of airports in Spain. They definitely use way more airplanes in the country than they should, I think. But that's the reason behind this, because they don't have any other options. And train would be a really great option in Spain, actually, but it's just not happening for some reason.
Yes, so in England there are a lot of airports, first of all. There's airports everywhere. And the train is very expensive. It's about £20 if you don't buy too much time ahead. Just for me to get from Northampton to London. And it's an hour's journey. And £20 is about 10,000 forints, I would say. Maybe a bit less than that, but it's not too cheap. And in Hungary, Shoma, they are not too bad in price, but they're not very updated, right?
Hmm.
How about in
It was
how are
Uh,
the trains?
Terrible.
Okay.
In one word, it's very sad. The train tracks are very badly damaged and they don't keep them up. They don't take care of them. So the trains can, for one, they can only go very slowly. For another, very few people use the train, so there's less money for the train, so there's less money to fix the tracks. And on top of this, there's a city called Cluj where basically it cut off from you can't get there any other way but by car because they said they were gonna build an express, a fast train there, but this was 10 years ago and they never did. So it's now the only way to get there is by car. And you can imagine the traffic there.
I would like to add that the train, the tube, everything, the buses are very often very full in England, especially in the rush hour when people finish work, when students finish their business in school. That is actually a really good thing. So even though the public transport is quite expensive, it is quite full and quite easily accessible in my country.
Yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
thing. I mean, if there are a lot of people, it's always gonna be like that. It's the
Yeah.
same. And actually in Madrid, if you compare it with the capital or like a bigger city, Madrid is obviously well connected. Like you can go from one point to another really easily. They also have metro at midnight, but so
Mhm.
or underground. But yeah, like it really depends on how if we talk about a whole country or a city. Yeah, Shoma.
Exactly. It's really similar here in Hungary as well. Budapest has a well-developed and reliable public transportation system. The network includes metro lines, trams, buses, trolleybuses. But if you think about Hungary as a whole, the quality would decrease. Let's say the Hungarian train called MÁV is famous for being late all the time. So it's up for grabs. So in the rest of Hungary, public transportation is definitely less extensive and slower.
Yes, but Shoma, when I'm home and I'm home every season, Budapest and in Hungary,
Hmm.
I use the train very often, and I never had the problem really. And it's cheap. It's very cheap. It's tenth of the price of the train to, for example, from London to Northampton.
Hmm.
The
Well,
quality
you
is not that bad. Not that bad.
really? Well, you've been lucky then, because I've
Maybe I'm
always,
only going to Balaton most of the time, and they
I
have
see.
really good trains to there or Valencia Lake, and also
When I visit my hometown in the eastern part of Hungary, the train usually not that reliable. You will have to calculate plus 30 minutes or 1 hour
oh
almost all
really?
the time.
Yeah, oh
Yes.
late. Oh, in my case, I'm not that fixed in time, but I usually get really good timing,
Mm-hmm.
really good price, a really comfortable chair. So it's
Well, I'm
not that
glad that
bad.
you liked it. I will say this though. I think the public transportation of Budapest is is really good and amazing if you
Yes,
compare
that's
it
right.
to
In my
if you compare
experience
it.
too, I agree with you.
Yeah, it is modern, it's frequent, easy to use. If you want to make travel easy, you just download the Budapest Go application and you can travel everywhere pretty fast and easily.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
I usually use or not usually, I always use the public transportation because I am worried about my ecological footprint.
One problem I have with the public transportation in Budapest is the system, actually. In the UK, we have barriers, so everybody has to pay. In the system in Hungary, there are these controllers or checkers who come around and scare people and kind of terrorize people. And there's something that makes the travel really stressful to me.
I mean, but
Really?
if you have a valid ticket, then you have nothing to worry about.
Yes, but my mom likes to skip it. And
Oh no,
Oh my
that's the
unfortunately,
god.
problem.
yes, I
Yeah,
told
you
her
have
to
to.
get a proper week ticket, a pass, but she finds it sometimes she likes to stick down.
She likes to play with fire.
She likes
Yes.
to living on the edge.
And wait a sec, when I was a student, I always had a pass, but sometimes I left it at home and they terrorized me so much that I'm actually really stressful to travel with the Budapest transport sometimes. I
When
like to
I'm
have a pass, but if I leave it at home when I'm a student, I mean, I don't think they should pressurize me so much and make me so scared.
when I'm there, I'm just always scared that I'm gonna accidentally pull out a ticket that I already used.
That's another thing, yes. And the people who check your ticket are sometimes intimidating and scary, especially when you're a child.
Hmm.
And I have some bad experiences from my childhood about this. But in
You
the
have
UK, you have to
PTSD.
pay. The bus won't go unless you pay. You have to get off if you didn't pay. You can use your credit card to pay or your Oyster card, and it's really straightforward in here in England,
Hmm.
especially in London. But even in Northampton, there's a card system where you pay by credit card or you have a pass. Even the disabled people can get a pass, which is really great, a free pass from the library. You have to go to the library and apply for it and prove that you are blah blah, you don't drive, you're this and this disabled. And they give you a free bus ticket to the local buses, and you have to pay when you get on. So you're definitely, yeah.
And how's the situation in your country, Esther?
Well, about the public transportation, I mean, in Madrid, because we kind of talk about big cities, it's quite good, actually. I mean, I never lived there, but I've been there 2, 3 times, and it's easy to use. I mean, it's a big city, so sometimes it can be chaotic, but that's not the problem of public transportation. Although, what I wanted to mention is, I don't know, guys, if you ever heard about BlaBlaCar, for example, which is a car sharing app, and it's really, really famous in Spain. As I mentioned, like the train and the bus system is not really good, so that's a really positive thing that I think people started and they use it. Sometimes people use it every single day. Like when I lived in a small town in the middle of southern Spain, I seen like there was actually even a WhatsApp group. Like they took this whole app and put it on WhatsApp. Like people just made a group in the whole town and they were traveling between the big city and the little town, and they just posted like, "Hi, I'm going from this town to this city at this time at this hour. Who wants to join?" And for example, it was €6. It was half of the price as the train, because as I said, the train is really expensive. And then you were either able to pay it in the app or you paid it in cash in the WhatsApp group, like that's a little bit more like, well, I'm not gonna say illegal way, but obviously the app took a part of the money. So this is why people started to use WhatsApp instead. And I feel like it's actually pretty safe. I mean, as a girl, luckily, I never had a bad experience. I mean, one time there was a dude who was driving pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But do you guys have this in your countries, this app or something like this, like car sharing? Is car sharing common in any other country? In your countries?
In England, we have Uber, which is a bit similar, but it's obviously more like a taxi. But for Soma, I would say I know about Mollimo. Isn't that something similar? Have you heard of it?
Yes, I'm not sure if any other city has it, but in Budapest there is a app called Molimo or Gringo. They are basically fully electric cars, and they emphasize green mobility using electric cars, and they let you pick up and drop off in a service area.
Yeah, I heard about that. I actually tried it. Although it's quite distant, different, the system. Because that one is in the city and people leave the car and someone can pick it up. This is more like people travel from one city to another and they share their car. So the car it just doesn't go empty.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, in Hungary, I think there is a similar thing called Oscar. They basically do the same. It's also an application. You give your starting point and your destination, and people can join the ride and split the fee.
Yeah. So then it works the same way. Yeah. It's just called differently.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah.
How about in Romania?
In Romania, we don't have anything like this. We only have taxi and we have something similar to Uber here as well. But nothing quite like what you mentioned, Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet, perhaps.
You can make the
Maybe
app. You can make a change.
yes, you can get an idea from
I can't
this
drive.
podcast, and
Well,
you just have to make
do the app. You don't have to drive. You don't have to use it.
Well, maybe I just haven't heard it, but there's no car sharing as far as I'm aware in England. But maybe I just don't use it. Maybe I just never heard of anyone using it. But I don't know about that.
Mhm.
Well, guys, do we still want to talk about any other topics? We are getting out of our time for today.
Yes, I think we're fine.
I think we had a great session.
Yeah.
Talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we've covered things like water supplies, recycling.
Public transportation.
We didn't go into water. We didn't do water supplies, I think, did we?
We did that a little bit, like how to protect our waters. We did some of the alternative energies, and finally public transport and insulation as well.
Exactly. This
Yes.
topic is quite big, so it's impossible to talk about in only one podcast. So, our listeners, I'm talking to you right now. I hope you're going to join us in our next episodes when we might still talk about this. If you have any other comments on this topic, or if you would like to add something we missed, or maybe express your opinion about your country, then leave us in the comments below. Please follow us and see you next time. We were Sustainably Yours, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.